August looks to be the beginning of a sick run for indie games up to the end of the year, where I know that there are a couple more awesome indie games coming out, but I cannot talk about those right now, where the best games begin with the 1.0 release of 30XX, a roguelite Mega Man-like that is the sequel to 20XX, where I really do prefer the look of this game as compared to the original. You are exploring procedurally generated worlds with a variety of weapons and powers, facing off against powerful bosses before you dive into the next world, where if the Blue Bomber is one of your favourites, do yourself a favour and check this out. An impressive title that was only recently revealed but already got attention is En Garde, a swashbuckling action-adventure title where you play as a noble woman and hero of the people, taking on the tyrannical Count Duke and his forces who are oppressing the masses.
How is she doing that?
From the character design, world and weapon of choice, it sure seems to be inspired by the masked legend Zorro, where the minute-to-minute action looks fun, and there does seem to be a little bit of Prince of Persia DNA in this game as well, being a linear action-adventure title that feels like a throwback.
Count Duke, stop this nonsense now! Come on, amigo, try to fight me at least!
This is an ambush, Volador!
An ambitious-looking grimdark adventure strategy colony sim village builder title is Gord, one way attempting to keep your tribe alive while fending off oncoming waves of monsters and enemies. The Slavic folklore-inspired world and creatures are similar to those that you see in The Witcher, but perhaps with a different interpretation, where this game is a management colony sim where you're upgrading your village and defenses, sending your people out to gather resources and to construct buildings, but you can also send people out on expeditions as well, battling the horrors out in the dark. You do also have to make critical choices which will affect the lives of your people, and looks like a fantastic entry in the space. I was so happy to see Deathbulge Battle of the Bands on the list of upcoming releases, since this is a turn-based RPG with music elements based on a popular webcomic of the same name, where you lead your party in a literal battle of the bands. It starts with 3 distinct characters, but each character has, in turn, different specializations or so-called classes to choose from, which does provide variety. I do like the cartoony look and art style as well, reminding me just a little bit of Cartoon Network, and since it comes to us from a webcomic creator, the writing should be good as well. The whole game just gives off a fantastic vibe, where characters open chests by kicking them, for example, looking to be a fun little romp. This game has long been on my watch list for JRPGs, and I've covered it a number of times on the channel over the years, so let's hope it lives up to expectations. Another newly announced title that already has my attention is Thronefall. Since it comes to us from developer Grizzly Games, developer of awesome titles such as Islanders and Superflight, where the latest is a lot less chill and relaxing, being an intense, minimalist, real-time strategy title. You're building and expanding your kingdom while defending against hordes of enemies, where in contrast to a regular RTS title, everything is done through direct control of the player avatar, which does simplify things somewhat, where your character can directly attack enemies as well and has an awesome visual style. It will be no surprise that Bomb Rush Cyberfunk shows up on this list since I did preview it when looking at the best upcoming games for the rest of 2023, where this Jet Set Radio-like is a game that Sega dares not to make. So it's indie developers to the rescue with the stylish, traversal-focused action game. You play as a member of a crew exploring New Amsterdam and fighting back against the police and rival crews, where the visuals and action are the highlight, and I absolutely love it when indie developers step in when bigger developers deem projects commercially unviable to make, giving gamers what they want. One of the no-brainer picks of the month is Hammerwatch II, the sequel to an excellent dungeon-crawling action RPG, where this time, the adventure takes us beyond the dungeons of Castle Hammerwatch in the first game, giving us the opportunity to explore the world. You are helping the king to keep the lands safe from monsters and the undead, being set in a very classic medieval fantasy world, with the typical player classes like knights, rogues, archers and wizards, but looks absolutely gorgeous, where the pixel art is fantastic and even has co-op support.
The lost Caribbean Sea was a captain mighty. Mordecai was his name, he succumbed to the white flame. His treasure was lost and his crew was tossed. Now is the day cursed pirates have their way. That's the life we live, come along for the trip. When plans go astray, we find us a way. We put them to a stop and give them the choke. We're a cursed crew and Marty's our ship.
If the amazing opening for this trailer didn't already impress you, I would recommend that you give the full version a listen, where the sea shanty-ish song for the trailer of Shadow Gambit The Cursed Crew is but an indication of the quality to expect. Where this is a real-time tactics title with stealth elements, coming to us from developer Mimimi Games, who are best in class in this niche. It is from the developer of Desperados 3 and Shadow Tactics Blades of the Shogun, two excellent games that seem similar but are in different settings, where I have every expectation that this game will be great as well. You control the cursed crew members of a ghost ship, facing off against the forces of the Inquisition as you go on a grand treasure hunt. You know, typical pirate fantasy stuff. The supernatural abilities of your crew will be one of the more unique twists of the game, where I'm sure that this will be balanced such that it is not overpowered, where if you love pirates, this is one to get. I love the classic Japanese-style turn-based RPG since I grew up with all the classics, where in contrast with the current big Japanese IP like Dragon Quest, Final Fantasy, Pokemon or even Xenoblade Chronicles, indie games are where it's at if you prefer the throwback pixel art style, which has made Sea of Stars one of my most anticipated titles in quite a long while. This is from the developer of The Messenger and is set in the same universe, and based on the writing of that game, I'm excited to see where this game goes and how the two are linked together. The turn-based combat system is in-depth with active combat elements, multi-character combo attacks, and even something known as a locks system which varies damage types, so there's plenty to look forward to if you love this genre, where it's a beautiful title that should be worth picking up. It will be no surprise to see this game get top billing, since I love my pixel art Metroidvanias and the original is one of the best games in the genre, making Blasphemous 2 a title of interest, where enough has been said about this game at this point based on the numerous previews, so just look forward to it, where you can find more upcoming games in this video.